Hello, everyone, and thank you for attending today's webinar, Smart Power on Demand, powered by Panasonic lithium-ion battery technology. I'm Kelly Pickerel, editor with Solar Power World, and before we begin, we want to let you know of a few things. On their application widgets at the bottom of your screen, you can move and resize these however you like. Slides are available to view at any time in the Resource widget, and please submit any questions related to today's webinar in the Q&A widget. We will try to answer these during the webcast. If we do not get to your question, our presenters may reach out to you afterwards. And if you're watching this on demand, you can still use all of these features. So let's get started with today's webinar, Smart Power on Demand, powered by Panasonic's lithium-ion battery technology. Today's speakers are Chip Means, Director of Marketing for Pika Energy, and Chris Brown, Sales and Business Development with Panasonic Eco Solutions North America. They will talk about the new Harbor Smart Battery that provides clean energy storage with revolutionary simplicity and automated performance. Combining Pika Energy's power electronics and Panasonic's lithium-ion batteries, each Harbor unit stores 10 to 15 kilowatt hours of clean energy directly coupled to solar PV. And now I'll turn it over to Chip.
Thank you, Kelly. Thank you, everyone, for joining us today. We are very excited to be giving some details around the newest member of the Pika Energy Island family, the Harbor Smart Battery. And so just a look at today's agenda, we're going to provide an introduction to this product and an overview reminder for everyone of the Pika Energy Island system. And we'll get into some performance advantages and specifications on the battery, and then talk about some of the operating modes that it's intended to support. So lots to cover, but we're going to keep it pretty quick and then get to as many questions as possible at the end. We want to make sure everyone also has information about how to get this great new battery, and we'll get started with looking at some of the system specifications here. So this is a solar-ready smart battery. It's DC coupled to the Pika Energy Island system, and it is available in 10 kilowatt hour and 15 kilowatt hour models. And this is combining Pika Energy's leading DC power electronics and Panasonic's lithium-ion battery technology. So a great coupling of two really fantastic technology concepts here. Panasonic, the world's largest supplier of lithium-ion batteries, and Pika Energy, we make high-efficiency DC-coupled nanogrid inverters that connect the battery on the same bus as PV for the highest installation simplicity and round-trip efficiency. So getting into some of the advantages of this design, this system can be installed by one worker in less than an hour, this battery, which if any of you have done battery systems in the past, even kind of next generation smart batteries, you know that this is a considerable design advantage. So rather than having a team of folks or having a really heavy unit that needs to be brought in, this battery assembled on site and can be completed in actually about 30 minutes. So we have a video on our website that I'll point everyone to later on that shows this installation occurring. With this design, the battery is coupled directly on the DC side of the Pika Energy Island system, which not only allows higher efficiency but higher power capacity than other systems available on the market. With no auto transformer on our inverter, you can use the full inverter capacity for islanded loads, and the battery itself provides 6.7 continuous kilowatts of power. So really the difference there is that if you're islanding and using this battery for backup power, you're going to have a lot more available power, which makes it a pretty exciting product for anyone who's using it for backup power. One of the nice features of the Pika Energy Island system is that when you connect a battery to our inverter, it automatically configures and is ready to support operating modes like backup power and self-supply and rate arbitrage. This is all powered by the Rebus DC nanogrid, which is the core technology in all of Pika Energy's products. It's what makes everything click together, kind of like the USB for clean power. So rather than needing separate inverters, separate COM boxes for all of the components to work together, this is an integrated platform. It's a suite of products that are all designed to acknowledge each other, configure to each other, and follow operational modes. They're very simple for the user to select. And with DC-coupled efficiency, your DC efficiency on your system is going to be north of 95% from your PV to your battery and back out of the battery. And so that really makes a huge difference in the lifetime return for these systems when you're using them for financial gains. So if you're in a market where a battery helps you to manage your electrical costs, that higher round-trip efficiency is going to be really important over the lifetime of the system versus some of the other systems that are on the market. Just looking back at what the Pika Energy Island system is, this is a single inverter approach that connects solar, storage, loads, and the grid on one hybrid inverter, and we do that all again through the Rebus DC nanogrid, which connects all of these devices not only in terms of power transmission but in terms of data and control as well. So everything is working seamlessly over that nanogrid. We have the power line carrier communications transmitting smart power. So you've got everything is not just moving power from your solar array to your battery and to your inverter, but also moving data and control as well. So you can see in the photo here, this is an image of showing how you have a DC bus integrating your PV and your battery on the DC side, and then on the AC side, you've got your loads, including EV or HVAC. You can also couple DC loads to the Pika Energy Island as well. This diagram kind of shows in further detail here. You have the optimized solar from our PV link on the left side. Your Harbor Smart battery connects in parallel on that same DC bus. There's a breaker assembly inside the inverter with 4 30-amp DC breakers, and you can put any combination of PV and battery on that breaker assembly. And I'll get into some more detail on that for different configuration options that are available. But this really makes the system not only very flexible, but also very scalable. So you can build up a large battery bank on this system. You can do a generous amount of PV when you have a battery as well. And again, it's all very plug and play. So it's really up to the unique application for each customer, how much power they need, how much storage they need. This system can scale in the direction of whatever their needs are. With the Harbor Smart battery, this enables grid-connected solar plus storage that's simple, smart, and powerful. So those are the three main things to remember about this. It's simple to install, simple to commission. There's not even a separate communication cable between the battery and the inverter. It's just all connected over the power line carrier. So you see that one connection point there to the DC breaker inside of the inverter on the left side there. That's the battery connected to the inverter on 10-gauge wire. So putting these systems in is really simple, really plug and play. It's smart to work with operational modes that are pre-configured into the Energy Island system, and you get more power for those islanded loads when you're using it for backup power than you would with a system that requires an auto transformer. Some performance specifications here. So the Harbor Smart battery is available in 2 models. And the Harbor 15P has 15 kilowatt hours of usable energy capacity. So 100% depth of discharge and 15 kilowatt hours available in the 15P with a continuous power of 6.7 kilowatts and a peak power of 10 kilowatts. And this is really important because when you're using the Energy Island system, and you've got the transformerless inverter that can use its full capacity for islanded loads, and you've got this battery that can peak at 10 kilowatts. This means that you can start things like a 3/4 horse well pump when you're islanding with seamless operation. You can surge at 10 or 12 kilowatts on the inverter and draw that from your battery, your PV, or a combination of both, depending on what your loads are. So again, as far as wiring up a sub-panel for the customer who has an Energy Island system and you're looking to provide them some protected loads, this is a really big performance advantage with our system. The 10P is the smaller of the 2 units, and this is a 10 kilowatt hour configuration of the battery. So the way that this works is the enclosure and the power electronics are included in the same size for both models. And then the way that it installs on site is the Panasonic lithium modules ship as individual units. Each is 2.5 kilowatt hours in capacity. So if you put in 6 of them, you have a 15 kilowatt hour battery, and if you put in 4, you have a 10 kilowatt hour battery. And so when an installer purchases this system from a distributor, they can buy either the 10P and get 4 of the modules along with the enclosure and power electronics, or they can get the 15P and have 6 of those modules shipped with the enclosure and power electronics. And in both cases, the installation is similar. You're just racking the batteries into the pre-wired, the pre-configured harnesses that are inside of the harbor enclosure, which makes it a very quick and simple installation to just connect all of the batteries in series to each other. And there is a video on our website, on the Pika Energy website, pika-energy.com. About a third of the way down, there's a video that I encourage you to check out after the event. About halfway into the video, we show the installation as a time lapse where we have one of our technicians installing the battery just on a clean wall, doing the entire project in about 18 minutes for a 15 kilowatt hour battery. No single part weighs more than 60 pounds, which makes it really simple to transport to the work site as well. And so both the 15 and the 10P models provide 100% depth of discharge. Again, the DC round trip efficiency of the system is about 95%. And with the batteries being connected on the DC bus and having a DC combiner built into the inverter, you can scale this up to as much as theoretically 60 kilowatt hours. And that would be a configuration that doesn't include PV, because you'd be using 4 of the 15 kilowatt hour batteries on the inverter, on all 4 of the breakers in the inverter. But you have an assortment you can choose from. You could do 30 kilowatt hours and have 10 kilowatts of PV, but the point being you can scale this pretty generously compared to other systems, and you don't need additional supervisory controls or switch gears in order to do that. They all just click together on that same DC breaker. The higher efficiency and power capacity means more usable power when the grid fails and a better return on your investment. So what we've done in designing this product line is we want the Pika Energy Island to be the dominant go-to solution for any grid-tied system that either today or might in the future incorporate storage. And the way we look at the industry, every PV inverter at this point should have the opportunity to incorporate storage, and it should be simple and high efficiency to do so, because whether the application is backup power or rate arbitrage, self-supply, efficiency and power capacity are 2 major considerations. And we want this system to prove that you can do that in a way that's both simple to install and accessible and flexible for any application, whether residential or commercial. So some design advantages of this system versus some other solar plus storage approaches. This is faster to install and more efficient than an AC coupled system. So you don't have 2 inverters. You've just got a single hybrid inverter. Batteries are integrated on the DC bus along with the PV. So the transmission efficiency is much better. There's not as many DC-AC conversions happening. And so when you're getting to your AC load, you can have as much as a 12% increase in round trip efficiency to your AC loads versus an AC coupled design, which is also just more hardware to install when you're doing AC coupling, and it's more of a O&M risk as well when you have multiple inverters involved and often auto transformers and switch gears as well. And versus other DC coupled systems, this one provides more power and more scalability. So really another design advantage around, especially backup power, if you're trying to use it for providing bigger loads when you're islanding, that's a huge advantage here. And without the auto transformer or additional switches to install, it's just a cleaner, simpler installation. Really helps to reduce the soft costs for the integrator in putting the system together. That way you're not, stuck for days on end trying to get the whole project done. We really look at battery systems as products and not projects. This is kind of a new world we're in where smart batteries can be installed as easily as inverters. So here are those configuration examples showing, again, the flexibility of the system. So the PV array size scaling on the x-axis there, and then down the left side there, your storage capacities. So you could have as much as 45 kilowatt hours with PV with that breaker assembly of 4 30-amp DC breakers. With 10 kilowatts of PV, you could have up to 30 kilowatt hours of battery storage. So really pretty revolutionary that in the example of 10 kilowatts of PV and 30 kilowatt hours of storage, you have one inverter, two batteries, and you'd have 4 of our PV Link optimizers, and that's it. So really a low part count for a huge amount of energy capacity and power capacity as well. The Energy Island system ships with 4 operating modes built in, and some of these can be tweaked as well for various applications. But the out-of-the-box applications that are available to all customers for the Pika Energy Island are 2 backup modes, clean backup and priority backup. And these are, clean backup allows you to charge your battery directly from the PV and will not allow you to charge from the grid. Priority backup does allow grid charging. So that's a mode we recommend if it's available in the customer's jurisdiction to do grid charging for their battery. That's the mode they would want to use if they were heading into a night storm, or they could see that there's a hurricane coming. They want to make sure their battery is filled up. That's a quick and simple way to do that, and they can just change the mode right on the inverter. Self-supply mode automatically matches the DC supply to the AC demand on the inverter. So you use a simple current transformer on the AC side, and now the inverter knows what the load is on the AC side and will supply it from a combination of PV and battery as both are available. This is pretty amazing how this works too. It's very much an instantaneous matching of supply and demand. So if you see the video on our website, we show a old-fashioned spinning meter, and it freezes right in place as you enter self-supply mode to power all of the AC loads with just clean power, avoiding buying from the grid, avoiding selling from the grid, unless you have more PV generation than you have loads to send to it. And then Grid Connect mode is just the out-of-the-box, simple, doesn't have a battery yet, just looking to be battery ready. And this is actually a really great mode. It's really important to think of this system as being available for really any grid-tied solar project, because being future ready, being future flexible, having the option of doing the battery at any point in the future is a really nice feature of this system, because you don't even need to put in additional hardware up front in order to do that. You're really just giving them a high efficiency grid tie inverter, high voltage DC, and US made product, and you can add the battery at any time in the future. So it's very flexible in that regard. As soon as they add the battery, the inverter will see the battery and enable these other operational modes for them to use. More detail on clean backup mode. So the automatic transfer switch in the inverter will automatically shunt power to the dedicated loads when you're in backup mode. When the grid is lost, it just clicks over instantaneously to power those loads. Again, you get that higher power for the islanded load, so 6.7 continuous 10 kilowatt surge from your battery. And you can build as big of a bank as you want, up to 60 kilowatt hours for each inverter that's installed on site. Self-supply mode, again, is about avoiding grid power in markets where that's important, or if the customer just wants to maximize their consumption of clean energy. So if you have a market where net metering has been deprecated or limited, or if you have a market where it's illegal to backfeed the grid, you can use zero export, which is a subset of our self-supply mode, which won't allow the inverter to export to the grid at all. It just clips at the array level. And then you can change these set points to avoid demand charges as well. So one example, if you have a customer who's in a commercial setting and they've got a demand charge that they are charged when they peak over a certain kilowatt limit for 15 minutes, then what you could do is set your inverter to watch that demand on the AC side, and as soon as they approach that threshold, it'll draw from the battery automatically, making sure that they're not going to peak over that limit. And while they're under a low power threshold, they can also charge from the grid to make sure their battery has the capacity that it needs. So this is a really, really powerful application for those customers, because just within a single 12-month period of avoiding those peaks, they could save thousands and thousands of dollars on their demand charges. All Pika Energy Island systems ship with the Review dashboard built in. So this is a fully mobile and tablet optimized platform that is free and included with every system. This is showing energy harvest, all of the statistics that the customer will care about, their harvest every day, each month, and going back to the commissioning of their system, it also shows their battery state of charge at all times. So no matter where they are, they can look at their phone or their computer or iPad and see what their battery state of charge is, what operational mode they're in, and how much energy they've been capturing. And you can see each device as well. So every PV link optimizer is visible on this dashboard, every inverter, every battery. And I'll hand it over to Chris now for this last couple slides here, and then we'll get into some Q&A.
Awesome. Thank you, Chip, and thank you to Smart Power World for hosting this webinar, and for everyone for taking time out of their busy day to come check out this new product. I just got to say it's been nearly a year of collaboration between Panasonic and Pika to bring this product to market. Lots of early mornings and late nights, and travel across the country and internationally to see this product come to market. So we could not be more excited to be able to announce this new energy storage product with the Panasonic battery and the Pika electronics. So talking just a little bit about the path to market. So when you actually do get the unit that you'll be installing at the customer's location, the hardware is going to come in a few different pieces. Really two. You'll have the blue case that you see here, but you also get either 4 or 6 of the Panasonic lithium-ion battery modules. Each battery module is 2.5 kilowatt hours, and they click together very easily using touch-safe connectors, and will hook right into the Rebus platform. And so, in terms of ordering this product, we have, I think, some great partners that we've put together to go to market with. I think you've heard of many of these companies. Of course, CED, Allied, U.S. Electrical Services, all top-tier solar distributors, where you'll be able to get the battery modules and all of the Pika components for the system. So in terms of pricing and availability, definitely interface with the distributors we have listed here to get price quotes and availability. General availability, we're taking pre-orders now, expecting strong demand through the summer, and we're expecting the first units to be deployed in the fourth quarter. And looking at a very strong 2018 ramp up of the product as we start seeing the demand for storage across the U.S. Okay, maybe Chip, I'll hand it back to you here and be available for questions.
I think Kelly, we're ready to head into Q&A.
All right, yeah, we will get into the Q&A session. As a reminder, you can continue to submit your questions via the Q&A widget at the bottom of your screen. So our first question, how many 10 kilowatt hour 400 volt DC battery packs can be paralleled?
Yeah, so if you had the 10P model, so the power electronics device that's in both the 10P and the 15P is the same device, and it's Pika's B-Link battery converter, and it has a continuous output of 24 amps, so it goes right on one of those 30 amp breakers in the islanding inverter. So whether you have the 10 kilowatt hour Harbor battery or the 15 kilowatt hour Harbor battery, they both use the same amount of current from the power converter, and so they both go on a 30 amp DC breaker in the inverter, which means you could do up to 4 of either one. So if you had a system with no PV and you wanted to just do 4 10 kilowatt hour batteries on one inverter, then you'd have 4 available, and that would be 40 kilowatt hours. If you were doing it with PV, you'd have 3 or potentially 2. But it's basically the same scale with either one. It's just you're going to get more total capacity if you scale up with a 15 than with a 10, obviously.
Okay, what is the useful life of the system, and how are you measuring that? And then, are you also offering a warranty?
Yeah, Chris, I'll let you talk about the battery life. The warranty I can answer quickly. So it is warranted for 10 years, and that warranty is passed through Pika, and Pika warranties the power electronics in the enclosure. Panasonic warranties the battery modules, and both have a 10-year warranty.
That's right, and thank you, Chip. We're going through the final details of the battery module warranty right now. We don't have a warranty statement that's available. We should have very shortly have the detailed warranty, but as Chip said, we're looking at a 10-year projection of warranty. Well, 10-year warranty on the battery based on normal use parameters. Like any battery, how you use it, it's going to change how the battery performs over time. So we're working very hard to map out those very specific parameters that will be published shortly.
Okay, how does this system compare with the Tesla Powerwall?
Yeah, that's a good question. I'd say that the biggest key difference in the installation is that this system is a floor-mounted enclosure. It brackets to the wall, and again is available in both 10 and 15 kilowatt-hour sizes, and has a really short installation time frame with a single worker. As far as chemistry, they're both lithium-ion, both NMC based, I believe, and so it's similar in that regard. Although this is a slightly different product from Panasonic that we're using in this battery, as far as the lithium-ion module that we're using. So it's similar in the concept of being a storage component for smart energy systems, but we feel that we've made really the first truly simple to install, high power, high energy density product in this partnership with Panasonic to make this a really plug and play storage asset for any grid tied solar system.
I would just also like to add, Chip, that the path to market does appear to be different. We're really committed to working through the channel to make sure that this product is accessible through the distributors I mentioned earlier, and we do want to see accessibility to the market starting here in late 2017.
Okay, perfect. Can we use this energy system for peak shaving applications?
Yeah, so one of the modes I mentioned before, you can basically tweak the thresholds for self-supply and use that as a way of kind of avoiding those peak events. One of the things that we expect to add on the roadmap for the Pika Energy Island system is sort of time-based and predictive peak shaving. So something more sophisticated for those commercial applications where you'd be trying to watch those peaks and offset them. As it is now, if the customer knows their threshold, you can adjust the inverter to have the threshold met by the battery as opposed to through grid power, and that's basically a way of doing what we call peak avoidance. So similar application, but not what you'd consider kind of traditional peak shaving.
Gotcha. Okay. How many Panasonic panels can connect to one PV link?
That's a great question. Thank you for asking that. So in a single PV link, you can have 8 of the Panasonic modules. You would do a slightly different configuration due to the voltage on the hit, but you would end up with 4 in parallel, and then another 4 in series, and then another 4 in series, and parallel with a Y connector into a single PV link.
Yeah, and I'll just add that for folks who are on the event here and have installed the Energy Island system, and I'm seeing a lot of familiar names on here, it's sort of probably a little mind-blowing to hear that, because we always say don't parallel the inputs, but really, since the HIT module has a high voltage and a low current, the input ampacity of a PV link is 13 amps, and so 2 parallel substrings of the HIT module is actually fine with PV link, and as Chris says, it's really a nice design because you can get 8 of them and take advantage of that really awesome solar module with the Energy Island system.
All right. Does the system make decisions on operating mode in a smart way, or who's controlling that?
Great question. So the customer can change their operational mode at any point when they have the battery, and they can basically, what you want to do is you'd want to basically understand what your market conditions are, what your energy needs are for your home, and then be in that mode for most of the time. But it's pretty quick to change out of modes and just go from, it's a couple clicks of the screen on the inverter to just go from, for instance, backup power to self-supply or back to grid connect. We are currently adding a feature where you could do that kind of on a time-based schedule, where you could say, from this part of the day I want to be in self-supply, this part of the day I want to be in export mode, so forth. So if you're in a market where, for example, you had time of use, and in the middle of the day you want to export as much as possible, and then when you come home at night you want to self-supply as much as possible. As it is right now, that would be a manual change, but in the future we intend to support you to be able to basically set that on a clock within the inverter, which is a software upgrade.
All right, does this system have to use Panasonic solar panels, or can any type of solar panel be used?
Unfortunately, any type of solar panel can be used. Well, I should not say any type of solar panel, but as long as it's compatible with the PV Link, which is the vast majority of modules out there. Certainly preferred by me.
Yeah, the only modules you can't use with the PV Link are some of the legacy positively grounded modules, of which there are fewer and fewer out there. Pretty much anything works, but obviously Chris and I like it when you use the Panasonic modules with this, because that's just a good synergy for our companies.
Okay, this one's kind of a long one, so hopefully I say it correctly. But okay, if someone has an existing system with third-party inverters, what are the issues with installing a Pika system alongside these third-party inverters? Can the system still island with all or some of the solar inverters on the AC side? And how would any AC side solar inverters be controlled in an island situation?
That's a really good question. So the best setup is when the Pika system is the whole DC system. I mean, that's just going to be the simplest to install, simplest for the user, least amount of kind of conversions and communications kind of overlapping. However, contact us after the event and we will give you our information on which inverters you could AC couple this system to. The retrofit market is something that we realize is really appealing to a lot of installers, especially kind of the lurching start of a lot of this solar plus storage stuff in the last couple of years. And we know that there's a lot of PV systems out there where people were looking to get a smart battery and they see something like this and they want to have it and they don't want to do a full tear out. And so we do have a path for some of those customers, and we can talk offline about what some of those options are. But the short answer is that 98, 99% of the market doesn't have any PV system yet, the market being the U.S. electrical grid. So really this system is cleanest and easiest when you go into a new installation with it, but it is possible to retrofit onto some inverters, and if you follow up with us, we'll help you out with that.
Okay. Are there line drawings for some of these design options?
Yeah, absolutely. It's really pretty much as simple as some of these marketing graphics in here make it look, but we're happy to provide any application-specific drawings as well. So if you have a specific amount of a target for kilowatts on the DC side, a target for kilowatt hours for storage, and if you have a load target that you're trying to meet on the AC side, we can always provide a recommendation. Say, oh, you want 2 inverters, or you want 1 inverter and 2 batteries and 6 PV links, whatever it is. The accessibility of our team is one of our value adds. So if you have an application for the system and you're not sure about how to go about designing it, please always reach out. We're always happy to help with that.
Okay. Does the same inverter handle different PV array sizes?
Yeah. So we have 2 models of the Energy Island system for the islanding inverter. The 7.6 is our single phase, and we have an 11.4 3-phase 208 model, and both have a DC AC ratio of about 130%. So 10 kilowatts is the DC recommended limit on the single phase, and 15 for the 3-phase, 15 kilowatts DC for the 3-phase.
What distributors are you working with?
It'd be CED Green Tech, Allied Building Products, Solar Division, and U.S. Renewable Solutions, which you may also know as US ESI. I'm happy to either Chip or myself to make personal introductions to all these distributors if you contact us afterwards.
Okay, perfect. We do have time for a few more questions, so if you want to continue to submit questions, we may get to yours. Does the battery kick in to lower peak kilowatt hour cost when solar PV is not net metering?
This would be what I would just basically say that this is self-supply mode. So if you are looking to mitigate your kilowatt hours that you're being charged for, self-supply is your best operational mode for that. At all times in self-supply, meeting the AC load with renewables is the goal of the system. So everything that's connected on your energy island will kind of march to that order and say, if we have PV available, if we have battery capacity available, use it to provide this load. Avoid buying from the grid at all costs, and only if it's nighttime and your battery's depleted would you need to do that. So that's the best mode to mitigate your kilowatt hour consumption charges.
Okay. Just looking through the questions. When will this begin to ship?
Q4. Optimistically looking to ship in October timeframe on the harbor itself, and I think Chip, you guys have some quicker availability right now on the inverters and PV links. Is that right?
Yeah, that's right. If you contact CED Green Tech, Allied, or US CSI, any one of those distributors can quote you on inverters and PV links for your energy island system with pretty quick turnaround. I'd say that the best way, if you're looking to get the Harbor Smart battery early, you're trying to get one of the first units that ships. That list is basically prioritized by folks who already have their energy island systems ordered and installed. We want to make sure that these batteries are going to installations where they can immediately be hooked up and people can start using them, so that early list is flowing pretty nicely. So certainly get your inverters in the short term. Those customers can grid connect until they get their battery in Q4.
And pre-orders are going in right now too for the harbor and the battery.
And that URL you're seeing on your screen there, that Panasonic URL is where you go to place your pre-order.
Perfect. Okay. I think that's all the time we have for questions today. If you do have additional questions or we didn't get to yours, feel free to contact our presenters on your own. And this webinar will be shared again with all registrants so you can view it at your convenience. I'd like to thank Chip and Chris again for being here, and Pika Energy for sponsoring today's webinar. And thank you to everyone in our audience for participating. We had some really good discussion. I hope you enjoyed our presentation, and we invite you to join us for more Solar Power World webinars. Thank you.